Okay, today we will discuss Kansai Special Brand, the difference between Kansai Special Brand Shirring and Smocking machines. They are made in Japan by Morimoto Manufacturing. What is shirring? Shirring means gathering. How shirring is formed? By using a special stepped presser foot to make creases in the fabric as we sew.
Okay. These steps, 2 millimeter and 4 millimeter.
This is a flat presser foot. This is flat, and that is a stepped presser foot. By using these steps, you get different amounts of shirring or different amounts of gathering. Okay, also by the elastic thread, the stretch in the elastic thread, the elasticity of it also gives you the gathering effect, even with the flat presser foot. So even if you use a flat presser foot, you will still get a gathering effect just by using the elastic thread. What is smocking? Smocking is decorative gathering. Okay, all this means is there's a decorative stitch. It's the same as the shirring machines, but now we're going to add a decorative stitch. Okay, most of the time when we sell a smocking machine, it includes smocking and shirring. Okay, how is this smocking stitch formed? Smocking machines come with cams, 9 different cams. Okay, some machines can use 3 cams at a time. Other machines use 2 cams at a time. The latest machine, the NB series, can use 3 cams at a time. So by changing these cams, you will get different designs. Different patterns will be formed by using these cams and by how you thread the decorative thread. There's fingers in front of the presser foot that are moved back and forth by these cams. And that's how you achieve your different designs. So different designs can be formed, can be created. Different designs can be created by changing your cams and by how you thread the smocking fingers. Okay, shirring has 3 different types. Basically, Kansai makes 3 different types of machines that can all do shirring. There's a single chain stitch, which is the 1012 series, which we're showing on this page here. And then we're going to show you the PSET is another series, and the PQ is the 3rd series. Okay, so this first one here is a single chain stitch. The FB 1012, 1025, and 1033 single chain stitch machine. Okay, the good point, this is thread through the needle only. It has a blind looper. So one of your good points is you're going to save the cost of the looper thread. You will only have elastic thread through the needle to make the stitch. So you're going to save the cost of a looper thread. Also, with the single chain stitch, you get your maximum elasticity. The stretch of the garment, after it's sewn, the stretch of the garment is up to 200%. Okay, that's your single chain stitch. The downside to your single chain stitch is that once a skip happens, it's very easy to unravel. So it's very difficult to repair your skip stitch or your thread breakage. Like normally you would use a single needle lock stitch or something to repair it. With the single chain stitch, once the skip happens or thread breakage happens, it's very easy for the thread to ravel out. So it'll ravel out almost the whole way. It won't just be 1 skip stitch or 2 skip stitch. Once it breaks, it's possible to ravel out the whole way. So that is one of the downsides to the single chain stitch. Another downside is because when you use elastic thread, you have to use a large needle, size 21. This can cause hole marks in the garment. If you're using very thin fabric, very light material, the large needle, size 21, can cause hole marks in your garment. All right, this is your second type of shirring machine. This is a this is a double chain stitch with elastic thread in looper. So this is the PSET series. Double chain stitch with elastic thread through looper. Uses regular thread in the needle, elastic thread in the looper. This makes it easier to repair a skip stitch. These are the pros. Also, you can use a smaller needle. Standard needle size is 14, so you won't have any issues with needle hole marks in the garment. So you can use this for very thin material also. And there's no risk of the elastic thread coming out from the overlock stitch area. Since it's a double chain stitch and the elastic thread goes through the looper, there is no risk of your elastic coming out once you overlock it. After you finish the garment and you put your overlock stitch, there's no way the elastic thread can come out. The bad point, the bad point about the PSET, the double chain stitch with elastic through the looper, is that you get less stretch of the garment after it's sewn. After the garment is sewn, your stretch is only 130 to 150%, compared to 200% for the single chain and for the PQ machine, which is what we're going to show you next. And your third type of machine for shirring is the PQ series. PQ is a double chain stitch machine. Thread through the needle, thread through the looper, and then the elastic thread gets fed in between the stitch. It gets inserted in between the stitch, it gets piped in between the stitch, whatever you want to call it. But by using those same fingers we told you about, the smocking machine has fingers. The PQ machine also has a special guide in front of the presser foot that you thread the elastic thread into, and it gets fed in between the double chain stitch. Okay, the bad point, because the elastic thread is not stitched into the fabric, again, it's fed in between the stitch. So it's possible that after by washing the machine, by washing it a lot, it's possible that the elastic comes out of the stitch, even if you overlock it. Okay, as you can see here, it's just weaved in between the stitch. The elastic thread is just weaved in between the stitch. So it can be pulled right out from the stitch. Just like so. Again, with the PQ though, you get maximum elasticity. So your stretch of your garment is a full 200%. Elastic thread gets fed in between the double chain stitch. You can use a smaller needle, so no problem about needle holes in your fabric. And the only bad point is that because the elastic thread is weaved in between the stitch, it can come completely. It can pull completely out of the stitch. Again, this is rare. It would take a lot of washing, a lot of wearing, but it is possible for that elastic thread to come out of the stitch.
So neat.
There's your overlock. He's showing you the overlock there. And there's your elastic thread. It's weaved in between the stitch. So it is possible for it to come out. More secure if you secure it, sew it down with a lock stitch, or sew it a little better with the overlock. It will keep it from coming loose. Okay. All of our machines, all of the shirring and smocking machines, when you're sewing elastic, they come with a metering device. This helps control your elastic. The tension of your elastic thread is very critical. So all of the shirring machines and smocking machines that use elastic thread, they come with a metering device to control your elastic thread tension. The single chain stitch, the metering device, you can see the single chain stitch, the 10-12, the metering device is on the top side because the single chain stitches thread through the needle only. And on your PQ and on your PSET, the metering device will be on the bottom side because the elastic thread will either get threaded through the looper, or for the PQ, it gets inserted in between the stitch. But for both of them, you have a bottom metering device. So one you have a lower metering device, and one you have the metering device on top. All right. How we get more or less shirring, we spoke about this a little bit before. The stepped presser foot comes with two different guides, a 2mm step and a 4mm step. For less shearing, like I said, you could use a flat presser foot. Flat presser foot with elastic thread only, will give you some shearing. Then you could use the 2mm step, you will get more shearing. And if you use the 4mm, the highest step, will give you the most amount of shearing. Other things that will also affect your amounts of shearing is your stitch length. A longer stitch or shorter stitch will give you more or less shearing. And tension. Tighter tension will give you more shearing. Less tension will give you less shearing. And also remember, you have to adjust your puller accordingly. Once you set your stitch length, you must adjust your puller to make sure the puller is not pulling too fast. If the puller is pulling too fast, you will pull out some of that shearing effect, that shearing look. The puller can pull some of that out. It won't be even. So after you set your stitch length, make sure you adjust your puller accordingly. Okay, right here is just some information about the elastic thread. You really need to use a very good quality elastic thread. We offer this thread here. It's made in Japan. And you can see all the information and the specifics about it on this page. But it's very important to use very good quality elastic thread. You can't just use any old elastic thread. Okay, and here is some more information about the elastic thread. It shows you the core of it, how it's wound. Okay, and also the number there of the thread we have that we get from Japan. Okay, these are the different gauges available. Of the machine, we offer 12 needle, 25 needle, and 33 needle machines in 3/16 and quarter gauge. So 12 needle 3/16 comes to 2 1/16 overall. So you have 3/16, it's a 12 needle machine, 3/16 between each needle, 2 1/16 inches overall from outside to outside needle. Okay, the 1/4 inch machine on the 12 needle, 2 3/4 inches overall. A quarter between each needle, 2 3/4 outside to outside. 25 needle quarter, both the 25 needle quarter and 33 needle 3/16 come to 6 inches overall. Maximum width of 6 inches. We do not make anything wider than a 6-inch machine in the Shirring and the Smocking machines. And here are your model numbers. These are the model numbers that we offer. The 12 needle DFB 1412 PSET MD. That's the double chain stitch with elastic thread through the looper. DFB 1012 PS. That's a 12 needle single chain stitch elastic through needles only. Blind looper. DFB 1412 PQ 12 needle double chain stitch thread through needles and looper. And the elastic thread gets fed or piped or inserted in between the stitch. Shirring and Smocking machines, PSSM. You just add the SM in that model number. SM in that model number stands for smocking. So that comes with the decorative stitch. Okay, Shirring machines only is shirring only. Shirring and Smocking is decorative and shirring. 1412 PS, again, DFB 1412, double chain stitch, elastic through looper. 1012, single chain stitch, elastic through needle. PQ machine, double chain stitch, elastic gets fed in between the stitch, and also then you'll have your smocking fingers also on that PQ machine. Next. Okay, 25 needle, same thing, 25 needle, shirring machine only, 1025 single chain, the PSET, elastic thread through looper, PQ, elastic gets inserted in between the stitch, and of course your smocking model numbers, the PSSM numbers. You got to add the SM to those model numbers, and that will give you your smocking or your decorative stitch. Okay, so 33 needle, this is your 3/16 gauge. So 33 needle compared to the 25 needle. 33 needle, 3/16 in between each needle, 6 inches overall. Okay, if you're still not sure which machine to use or which machine you need for your garment, okay, you could either send us a sample or you can take a picture, email us a picture, send a picture of the top side of the stitch, the bottom side of the stitch, Okay, also use a ruler. Try to measure. You want to measure the distance between each needle. Let's say you're using 5 needles, 6 needles, whatever. The distance between each needle and then the overall distance, outside needle to outside needle. Okay, so if you provide us with all of that information, we could help you in suggesting the machine that you need. Of course, if you could send a complete garment, a finished garment, that would probably be the best. Okay, now when you measure, whenever you measure your gauge in between each needle and overall, it's best to stretch the garment. Have somebody hold it and stretch it. That's going to be the best way to get your exact stitching, because after it gathers, when it's gathered like that, it'll be much harder. The distance might change a little bit. It's hard. So whenever you measure, you want to stretch it all the way, and that's where you want to do your measuring between each needle, and then of course your overall from outside to outside. This will tell us what gauge you're actually using.